Hello friends, welcome back to your weekly reading. This is going to be all of the messages that are coming up from Spirit. This is your standard pick a pile, pick a card reading, when we're really going to be focusing on how you can shift your energy, what guidance is available to you so that you kind of get out of the muck and move into a lighter space. So if that sounds good, why don't we just dive right in? First and foremost, welcome. If this is the first time that we are meeting, I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Meshi and I'm an intuitive healer and an intuitive reader, and I do general oracle readings every single week. So in this week, this is no different. We are kind of switching things up a little bit, mainly because my regular shooting space is not really available at the moment. So if you're hearing noises, that's kind of why. Okay, I will show you guys a close-up of each of the crystals as always, and take a moment, get grounded. And as always, just use your discernment, as always with tarot. If you're finding that some of these messages are resonating, that message is for you. If they don't resonate, then that's because it's probably not for you, or it might be a prediction. So just keep that in the back of your head. Okay, let's begin with group number 1. So this is your crystal. This is a beautiful citrine piece. Next up, we have, I believe it's called mangosteen. It's mango. That's for group number 2. And finally, this is an agate piece, multi-laced agate piece. Very beautiful. So take a moment, use the timestamp that's going to be both in the comments and in the description, and let's get started. So first of all, if you have chosen citrine, I feel like you need a little bit of sunshine in your life. I feel like you might be kind of coming out of this space of perhaps a space where you were there was just too much shadow, too much darkness. You're probably at a space where you are reconnecting back to the things that are making you happy. Okay, first up we have intuition. I feel like some of you are using this month, and specifically this week is going to be a really good week to really reconnect back to the things that make you happy, and using your own intuition in a way of guiding you to what you actually need to do. I feel I'm definitely sensing more self-care than anything else. I feel like that might be something that is really lacking. Perhaps you couldn't really communicate it up to this point. We are energetically, we are moving out of Mercury retrograde this week. So that's going to help you guys. A detailed astrology and energetic update is going to be coming this week on the channel. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, use your own basically Spirit is telling you to really, in order for you to kind of get out of this muck, use your tools, use your energetic tools, and use your own intuition. Create that sacred space. Like, I'm keep getting sacred space, but I also feel like with your intuition, I think that some of you have a hard time really trusting that, where perhaps some of you might be really looking at all of these different things that can really guide you and show you what you should be focusing on next, instead of just kind of tuning back in. And here you're really reminded to actually just use your own intuition and really remember, that power is within you, right? As for crystals, let's see what can actually help you beyond citrine. For crystals, you have celestite, which is soothing your soul. I feel like for some of you, you are kind of coming out of this space where it's like this really dark place. Perhaps you've done a lot of shadow work, or you're really realizing, the people that are not serving you, you're realizing like what's really weighing you down, and perhaps you might have set that intention to kind of release that a little bit. But I feel like right now it's almost like you're licking your wounds, right? Like I'm very much feeling like, especially with citrine and with celestite, that you're at that space right now where you are trying to really mend to you, right? Like, I'm really feeling like you're trying to like create that balance for yourself instead of waiting for others. Perhaps like this past weekend wasn't exactly the most fulfilling for you, or if you connected with family, they really like triggered certain things for you, which wouldn't really surprise me. Again, energetically, we're at a really weird space astrologically. So just kind of keep that at the back of your head. Okay, let's see what else is coming up for you. And isn't that interesting? So we have balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. I think that some of you are really starting to release that grip on judgment, release that grip on all of these. Like, I'm feeling like you have gone through something really, I don't want to say traumatic, but it's like you're walking out of that chapter of your life where you're just not in darkness anymore. You know what I mean? You're really tuning back into yourself, and you're really discerning for yourself what it is that you want to create. You're setting intentions. You're really starting to work with all of these energetic tools to really bring that power back into your own hands. And with the balance, I think that you're really starting to asking yourself, if you haven't yet, then I think that this week is going to be a perfect week to really start asking yourself, how can I bring that inner and outer balance back into my life? I think that it's almost like you walked out of this chapter of your life, well, at least some of you walked out of this chapter of your life where it's been a whirlwind energetically. And I think that your soul is just like yearning to just rest, to just catch your breath a little bit, you know? And I think that that's where that balance is coming from, where perhaps you're seeking the tools, you're seeking, you know, the ways that you can really start healing from the inside out. And then that starts with like using your own discernment. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Okay, so we have 5 of Cups, we have 6 of Wands, we have 3 of Swords, and we have 7 of Wands. So with the 5 of Cups, I think that, especially with the intuition, I think that for a while, or you might be at this point right now where you are really focused on what is not instead of what is. Like, it's almost like emotionally you just feel like nothing is really going your way. You might feel like you're not seeing the cups that are full. And I think that that's where you need to kind of bring that balance back, right? Like, I feel like these two need to work together. I think that with the balance, you need to kind of like look back on these 2 cups and see how they got full and what is keeping them full, right? I think that it's almost like you're invited to really shift your perspective from the what is not working into the what is working. How can you fill your own cup? It's almost like I'm just getting that, yeah, it's almost as if you're really reminiscing on the past and on the past pains. Then we have a 6 of Wands in reverse, and it's almost like it would be the time for celebration. It would be the time to feel like you're creating forward momentum, but you have a hard time feeling that because you need to soothe your soul, because you need that time for rest. You need that time for recharge. You need that time to pour back into your own cup rather than really getting out into the world. And then you have your 3 of Swords. It's like you don't feel victorious. You don't feel like celebrating. You don't feel like connecting with people right now because you need to kind of process. You need to, maybe it's grief, maybe it's a heartache, maybe it's literally just a sense of loss of a part of yourself, or perhaps we have this guy feeling like things are just not really working out, or how is my cup not full? And it's because you keep focused on the things that are bringing you anguish instead of focused on how can you move forward. Like, you need to allow these things to kind of come up and then move forward. And I think that you are. I think that you will be, because we also have the 7 of Wands energy, which is all about creating momentum, creating movement, and working through it. And I think that in order for that to happen, that's how it's going to bring you balance. Right? I think that these two, the 7 of Wands energy and the balance are kind of working together to create a little bit more stability for you than what you're feeling right now. But definitely use your crystals, use your discernment, because I think that that's going to help you the most. And it's like, all I'm getting is just be gentle with yourself. Use your own discernment. You're powerful. You're loved. You have everything that you need at your own disposal, but you need to choose to tap back into it. This is all I have for you, group number 1. I hope that this has resonated. Stay tuned until the end, because I will be pulling a couple of healing mantras that I think will be helpful and useful. So let's go to group number 2. All right, group number 2, here is your beautiful crystal. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you. We have change. We have change that is coming up. Change in a way that you're coming out of this state. You're coming out of, what do you need to change? You need to change your energy. You need to change your energy and shift your energy from this really, it's almost like you're clinging. Like you feel like you're doing all of the things so that you can preserve all that is. You can, you know, like I'm finding that for some of you, you're working very hard at preserving everything the way that it is. It's almost like you want to like live in the past, but living in the past in a way is really not making you happy. Not only is it not making you happy, but it's like, it's showing up a version of you that is really stuck. It's a stuck energy. You know what I mean? And it, not only is it that it's stuck, but it just feels very outdated. That's the word. So I feel like for some of you, you're really clinging onto outdated ideas, outdated concepts, because you don't want to move forward. I feel like you think that if only I can preserve this and it can be sacred, and the harder I work at creating this to be sacred, the more likely it will change. It will stay that way, right? And it could be, I'm sensing that this is more to do with your relationships. Maybe it's with your family or within your environment. Perhaps you don't want to make changes to your home. You don't want to like adjust. You don't want to acknowledge that people are changing around you, like your relationships are kind of shifting and evolving, and what used to work, now it doesn't work. So I find that you're working very hard at preserving something that doesn't need to be preserved. You know what I mean? And then I also think that you lost that sense of lightness about you in the process, because you were clinging on too hard, and in the process, you kind of lost that sense of like what was light and airy and flowy, right? So mood-wise, I feel like you just got really stuck on like what, it's almost like you might be like talking a lot about what used to be in the past and what used to work and reminiscing about the past. And it's almost like you're living from that, from the past. And you have humor as your little mantra. I choose to focus on the lighter side of things. I think that you got really bogged down with the heaviness of life. Perhaps it could be stuff that's affecting you globally, or it could be something that is affecting you here that is really like, I feel like you're really clinging on to things that are not really relevant. Or they're relevant, but I think that you're just clinging on to them because it's really bringing you down. Like you're finding the things that are bringing you down. That's what I'm getting. Okay, let's see what crystal you have. Oh, you have chrysocolla, and the chrysocolla is asking you to start fresh. It's almost like you need to really refresh something. Perhaps you need to paint a room. You need to change a couple of your furniture. You need to change an outfit. You need to start a new hobby, a new sport, whatever, but you need to start fresh in an area that feels really stuck right now. And that could be like go on a date night, like whatever it is, you need to kind of feel that intuitively of what it is that you've been really stuck on, like which area of your life. If it's at your work and you don't want to change your work, then perhaps just change something within your work environment. Like, can you bring a plant? I'm getting plants. I don't know why, but then again, with the humor and everything, we also have the greenery. I don't know. I'm getting plants, guys. So maybe bring more light. I guess I'm getting like you need to bring more life into your life. Like you need to bring more lively things that will put a smile on your face. You need to find out what that is for you. For some people, it's plants, it's gardening, it's being out in nature, it's connecting with animals. Like you kind of need to kind of find your element of what that is for you. But I'm definitely getting that you need to, like, it's almost like you need to begin again. Okay, let's see what the tarot has for us. Then we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Ten of Wands. And we have the Nine of Wands, both in reverse. So let's start unpacking this. So first we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay. So Four of Pentacles, I feel like you're being stubborn. I feel like you're being stubborn and you're blaming it on either money or like it's almost like you're this whole thing is, this whole reading, just so that we're clear, is all about you resisting change and shifting and evolving. So I just want to kind of put that out there. But I feel like you're just being really stubborn. You're being like a Magda, like, no. And the thing is that that's not really getting you what you want. So you can be stubborn, that's cool. But I think that you also thought about moving on, walking away. I think that in a way that you might be thinking that perhaps it's easier for you to walk away, or I think that you might be associating the word change with literally leaving things behind. So that kind of could be, I think that you might be like, actually, it almost feels like you're clinging on to this. I'm getting work. I'm not getting home. I'm getting work right now. That like something to do with your work, where like you have a hard time like evolving with like how your work is evolving, you know? And I think that you're thinking about like just literally leaving it behind and moving on. And then we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, where I feel like you're actually carrying way too much weight. I think that you're carrying out too many tasks, too many things. You're just carrying on other people's crap. You know what I mean? And you can't see how much of a burden you're taking on because you're not seeing progress. And here's your progress. You're just not seeing how things are actually blossoming. Basically, what you need to know here, underlying message here is about the same, that you are having a hard time, I guess, moving forward and allowing change to take place and getting you into that next chapter of your life, because I feel like you might have worked at this place for a really long time, or you might have been in this professional relationship, or like perhaps you really love the people that you work with, or like there's like a lot of history there. And I think that you lost that sense of lightness about what it feels like to be there. You know what I mean? Like I think that you got really bitter, and I feel like you got really super resentful because you're carrying way too much weight. Okay, I feel like you're carrying way too much, like you're taking on too many people's stuff instead of, and you can't really see the way out. So that's the other part of it too, that you can't really see the way out. You no longer want to really like harvest, you know, any new relationships. You don't want to you don't want to kind of work your way up like the corporate ladder. You don't want to do any of that because I think you're kind of emotionally done with it. You're just so bitter. So Spirit is asking you to contemplate the idea of starting something new, starting something fresh, because something different is available for you, but you have to be like not so stubborn about this change and really accept that change is inevitable. And whether you change or the circumstances will change, it's totally up to you. But you might be pushed into that situation where you might not have a choice. And walking away is not, it might be that might be your best option. I'm not sure if it is. You have to kind of feel that out for yourself. But this is all I have for you, group number 2. It's an interesting one. Stay tuned until the very end so I can pull a couple of healing mantras that I think will be helpful. So let's go. Group number 3, here we go. Here is your super stunning crystal. I will show you guys close-ups of all of these crystals, don't worry. Let's see what's coming up. Ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. It's like you're tracing back. Like I think that especially maybe with like this long weekend, you were reminiscing, you were connecting back with family. But I think that you're really diving deeper into what makes you you. You know what I mean? I think that for some of you, you're definitely taking that path of understanding not only where you come from, but what makes you uniquely you, and what are some of your gifts that you received from your ancestors? Like what is in store for you? What should you understand about your history? What should you understand about your bloodline, right? Like what are you carrying with you? surrender. I can release the need for control. I feel like for some of you, you're definitely learning to flow more. I feel like perhaps you're going through like a form of ego death almost, especially if you're digging through the past, you're digging through what happened. Like, why are you digging? Why are we digging right now? The love and legacy. Yeah, definitely. It's almost like you might be going through like, you might be going through just asking questions, interviewing your family, like asking them questions of, you know, why things happened the way that they did. But then also I think that you're really starting to try not to control the outcome, I guess. Or you're invited not to control the outcome because you might be trying to like manipulate it a little bit. And for crystals, you have amethyst, trusting your intuition. I think that intuitively you're perhaps like you're digging for answers. I think that's what it is. I think that you're digging for answers. You want to have a deeper understanding of not only where you come from, but what are your gifts and how things happen in the past. Like, you might be going through this whole process, but I think that also, I think it's affecting your relationships actually. I think that it's almost like something is blocking you, and you are invited to just release it, basically. Just need to release it. I know, I get how that sounds, but that's what's coming through right now. Okay, what does the tarot have for us today? We have Wheel of Fortune in reverse, we have the Hermit upright, Four of Wands upright, and we have the King of Cups in reverse. Okay, let's unpack. This, I feel like you need to get answers. I feel like this is sort of unlocking certain answers that you need for, I'm getting relationships. Like, honestly, I'm getting relationships for sure. And I also think that this actually makes sense with your amethyst card, only because with the Hermit, when you're going in, you need to go within in order for you to connect with your intuition and seeing what feels right. What is it that you're clinging on to? And I think that if you dive deeper within, then you will get your answers. But I also feel like it could be that you're going through this whole process right now this week because there's someone in your life that is sort of asking you, or there's someone that you want to connect with and you want to understand. I don't know. I feel like this is someone coming into your life. Like, I'm feeling that this is perhaps it's almost like you're getting married, or like there's like this big celebration, right? Like this big glorious celebration that is just really diving deeper into your history, their family history, their bloodline, and you're really going through this whole process. And maybe like what's actually coming up for you is really you're going through this process of really understanding where you come from, because you are about to make the next leap in your life. And I mean, I'm not just talking about marriage, I'm actually just talking about that next chapter within your relationships that's really asking you these big questions, asking you to ask these big questions ultimately. And then you have the King of Cups, and I feel like you're just not sure how to like you're asked to really handle your emotions. Emotionally, I feel like you have a really hard time gripping onto your emotions and really taking control and really feeling confident. I think that it shook your confidence emotionally, and it's almost like you're not sure how to like what part of this is true, what part of this is the lie, and ultimately the center of this whole reading is actually the surrender. To just not try to it's almost like you have to, whatever you uncover, whatever you're deepening your understanding on within your relationships, whatever that next chapter feels like for you, message is to surrender to it unfolding the way that it needs to, instead of trying to control it all. Because especially when there's like these big chapters in our lives come up, you have to just allow it. It's almost like all I'm getting is just allow it to be as it is. If it's for you, If that person is for you, it will happen. If it's not, then you're supposed to find out why it's not. But I see you definitely digging for answers. And when you dig for your answers, use your own intuition. That's what it comes down to. Using your own intuition, like knowing that that power that you have within is very powerful, and it is your own truth. So this is all I have for you, group number 3. I hope that you have found this helpful and useful. And let's hop on over for the collective messages, see what comes up and how you can use it as guidance. So let's go. All right, you guys, we made it to the end. Took a hot minute, but we made it. So let's see what mantra will be helpful for you guys for this week. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas and opening my mind. It's almost like you need to surrender to whatever's coming forth this week. Spirit is asking you to keep your eyes open, keep your third eye open. For a lot of you in the 3 readings, Amethyst was coming up pretty strongly, where you're connecting into your intuition, you're connecting with your intellect, and this is no surprise to just allow yourself to see beyond what is presented to you this week, because I think that that's going to be the most helpful guidance that you have available to you. Sometimes using your own intuition is going to be the most helpful when you can't see through the chaos and the confusion. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can support the channel by sending me all of the good vibes, and that's all I have for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this. If you did, you can give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe if you haven't already. We chat at least about 4 to 5 times a week in this channel. We talk about the law of attraction, about manifestation, about tarot, about connecting with our intuition. So if that sounds good, you would probably enjoy it here. And I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. Bye.